Take three. How's it going today? So today I want to talk about um this method of thinking about problems and doing hard things. And honestly, it's kind of helped me out a lot to just visualize it in this kind of way, right? So today we're talking about a concept that I like to call it friction. Now, the reason I use the term friction is because I'm a very physicsy, mathy type of guy, right? And I'm not very good at defining words in quote unquote normal ways. So I have to come up with weird metaphors and like mathematical definitions. I'm a math student. I'm a math student. This is just a way for me to say I'm an engineering student. But yeah, basically, friction is going to be defined today as anything that causes a disturbance and a slowdown of activity, right? So, for example, right, let's say you want to do a homework assignment because I'm just done with finals and that's a thing that I have to do now. Now, there's going to be two forces acting on that object. There's going to be a couple, but the two main ones are going to be A, fear of a deadline, and B, the fact that you don't want to do the homework assignment because it's fucking boring. Now, these are acting in different directions, right? Homework assignment, I really want to do this homework assignment because I want to finish it and not have to worry about this deadline, and I'm afraid of this deadline, right? So I got to do it now, 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 now. It's going to be acting in that way, the positive direction. That makes us do things. The act of actually doing it is going to be acting in the other way. That's friction. The fact that you don't want to do the activity itself is friction. And certain activities tend to have more or less friction than other activities. So, for example, a low friction activity is picking up your phone and doom scrolling. Now, I don't think you're surprised that I said that, but I think that doom scrolling is a very good example of a low friction activity because I'm going to use this in a very important way, right? If you have the option to push two boxes, right, and one has low friction and one has high friction, and you push them both with the same amount of force, the one with the lower friction is going to move first. So, in the same way, if you are sitting at your desk and you need to pick an activity to do because you're sitting there and you're bored, and you can either do your homework assignment or scroll TikTok. TikTok's gonna have lower friction. So if you're going purely based on which activity is going to be easier to do, it's gonna be the TikTok, and you're gonna pick that every time until you start stacking things with your activity. So you can do a couple things, but most importantly, you want to stack that positive direction of things to make doing the activity better. So number one, you need to understand why you're doing it. So sitting down and being like, I'm doing this homework assignment so that I get an A in a class so I can have my dream job. That is more powerful. That's a meaning. That's a why. Number two, the deadline thing. You can set a really far out deadline, like a week, and it's going to mean a lot less than saying I have to do my homework assignment by 2 o'clock. And that is a short deadline. And that means that you're going to do it faster. Number three is adding a reward mechanism to it. Now, these are just some examples that I can give out off the top of my head, but really, it's not about that. It's about making it easier for yourself to want to do the thing because there's more riding on it. And also, making it easier for yourself to get into it. So that's lowering friction. So if your friends, so like having friends that don't invite you out on a Tuesday night when you need to be doing your homework, that's a good way to lower friction because you now have less of a reason to do something else and less of a reason to sit in your room and go, ugh, I wish I was at the bars. I wish I was at a frat party. You don't have that now because you've removed it. And that is the essence of friction. And I'm just going to summarize again. Friction is this idea of things that get in the way of doing the activity. And propulsion is things that get you to do the activity more. So you can also relate this heavily to life change. Let's say you have a trait you want to add to yourself, right? Let's say you want to meditate more. Okay, you want to be a better meditator. What does that mean? That means you're going to probably have to meditate quite often, at least once a day, at least a couple times a week, at least once a day, something. Now, baseline, right? Let's say baseline. You're a person who lives in a box and you have unlimited time, but you have like nothing going on. You're a normal person, normal McNormalson. You have nothing going on. You can do it or you cannot do it. Cool. Now, let's add some more friction to that. Let's say you have a smartphone and you have a bunch of friends and family that whenever you're sitting around together, they always just pick up the phone. They always just pick up their phone and they start scrolling. Always. Happens all the time. You know it's going to happen. Right? So whenever you're hanging out with them and you want to meditate, they're going to do a low friction activity, which makes it easier for you to do a different activity, which makes it harder for you to start meditating. Right? That's adding friction to your activity. That's adding a second opportunity that is way easier to do and makes you less likely to meditate. Now let's add some positives. Let's say you joined a meditation community and club that talks about meditation and the benefits of meditation, and you understand the benefits. Bang. Now you've added understanding why you're doing it, social accountability, and just generally time to do it, because if you meditate in the club, that's what you do. So now you've lowered the bar to meditate significantly from those one aspect. Again, you have your friends who sit around and meditate. Who sit around and read their books. Sorry, they don't meditate. They sit around and they watch their phones and their TikToks. Their tiki-talkies. But you now also have this idea of time to do it and other thing. So all you need to do now is push the box. Because you can make it easy as you want on yourself. You still need to push the box. Friction can be low as hell. Box ain't moving if you're not pushing it. But it's low now. Because you've added all those positives and all those positives, it's lower. But also, the method is to remove the negatives. Because once you remove the negatives, the temptation to do something else is gone. So now all you need to do is show up to your meetings. Because once you show up to the meetings, you're gonna meditate. Once you show up to the meetings, there's no getting around that. You're not gonna like doom scroll everyone's meditating. That's weird. And that's a roadmap on how to become a good meditator. Right there. That's it. Remove the people and the situations that are going to get you to do things that aren't meditating. Go and do the things that get you to do things that are meditating. Bang. That's it. That's all it is. It's the same thing with running. It's the same thing with working out. It's the same thing with going and training and doing martial arts. It's the same thing with eating healthy. I could list 1,000 things. It's the same thing with game development. It's the same thing with getting good at doing the backflip. It's the same thing as archery. You can name anything, and it's always going to be the same option. Get in the communities and the places that get you doing the thing that you need to do. That's how to lower friction. But once you understand friction, everything lines up. Because it's not about... It's not this wishy-washy thing anymore. If I want to do this, I want to do that. It's what's holding me back from doing it. How do I do it? How do I become a better person? It's applicable to traits too. If you have tons of people that are sitting and define you as the guy who just makes jokes on the internet, or the guy who just makes jokes, if you are just a jokey guy and you actually just want to be Mr. Serious, those people are holding that identity to you. They're all sitting on top of the box adding friction. You need to get them off the box if you want to be a different person. Sorry. You need to either get them off the box, get them away from the box or something, and maybe they can get back on later. But you need to just separate from it and put the box somewhere else. In order to move the box, you need to push it regardless. If you want the box to move, it's going to need to be pushed. If you want to keep that friction high, you can leave them on there, fine. But if you want to keep the friction low and you want to actually get somewhere, get them off the box. They can hop back on later. They can hop back on later if they really want to, but I would not let them back on my box. Just generally speaking, I would not let these people back on my box. But yeah, that's kind of it. It's really important to just keep friction low with activities you need to do. Keep friction high with activities you don't want to keep yourself doing. Okay? And that's kind of it. This mic is awesome. I'm back home now, as you can see. It's kind of my outro now. I'm just going to talk about my life. Life's good. Went to the beach today. All right? Peace out. Love you.